Hello everyone. Let's start our today's live stream. And so today I've prepared some question and answer, common question and answer. People ask a lot about the tones, about the pronunciations. So I would like to share with my opinion with you guys. Okay, so the first one would be this. Okay. So this would be the first. This will be the first question, and let me also type on the screen. So our first question is, why can't Chinese people understand me, even though when I'm speaking with a correct tone? Okay. Well, this is a question so common. I heard it so often, so that I would like to share with you guys. And King Tian 老师好，你好，你好。So because I believe most of the beginners will have the pronunciation problem. So I decided today live stream. I decided to use English. Okay, so we will please try. Okay, but I think it shouldn't be a problem for you if I speak English. Okay, so let me answer it. So this is first. This is a common complaint. Okay, this is a common complaint. Usually, the situation is that you think you are speaking in the correct tones and very, very accurate. Well, in fact, the truth is that you probably not. And there is something that you are doing wrong. The fact is, if you use the correct tone, or if you speak in a very accurate, authentic way, complete way, people will be able to understand you. Okay, people will be able to understand you. So the key point is that you try to get the feedback about your tones and try to find out what you are getting wrong, which tone that you are struggling with. A Chinese teacher or your native friend can help. Or if you don't have that friend, one of the things you can do is to record yourself. Okay, because when you listen back, try to analyze it, it is more easy to realize your problem. When you speak it, when you pronounce it, maybe not so easy, but record yourself. Okay, this is the first question. Okay, so I hope I answered it completely. And second question, let's. Well, there are so many questions. So our next question is gonna be, how about this? Okay. Okay, so our second question will be, okay, our second question is, can people understand me if I speak with wrong tones or no tones. Okay, and to answer this question, first of all, I still want to say that very often learners will speak with wrong tones, or they will make tone mistakes. That is really, really common. Imagine if you are a non-tonal language speaker, and when you first start learning Chinese, the tone is so new for you. Okay, so this is something very common.
几乎到远一点的地方去，不要吵，我听不见了。
好，不要吵啊。Okay, so even Chinese native speakers will often make occasional mistakes with the tones, because some, in China there are so many dialects, and not everyone can speak the standard Mandarin. Okay, so even Chinese people will make some occasional tone mistakes. Okay, the answer to this question is sometimes it depends on a different few things. For example, first of all, if you are speaking with no tones, so it actually easier for people to understand than if you speak with the wrong tones, because if you are speaking with no tones, so it basically just leave it up to the listeners, and they gonna try to guess what the tones you should be using. And if you are speaking with the wrong tones, you are not only make them guess, you are actually leading them wrong, or make them confused by saying something completely different, different tones, or cause a different meaning. And that's why I always adjust people. You can always try to say some syllable in a flat tone. Okay, if you're not sure about the tone, and you can leave just in a flat tone, that will be easier for the listeners. Okay, at least they will have to guess what you probably talking. Okay. Another point of view is I want to point out is it also depends on who are you talking to. If you're talking to someone who's used to dealing with foreigners, or a Chinese teacher, or a university student, they might be able to understand you more easily. But if you're talking with somebody older generation, or an old person who live in the countryside, they might rarely see foreigner, right? So if you're talking with such person, they might find it's very difficult to understand you. Okay, because they in their life it's rarely to see foreigners, and they don't actually used to the way you speak. Okay. Also, it depends on the person who you're talking with, their ability to guess the level, the level of their understanding, and how good they are at communication. Okay, depend on these 3 points. So it's definitely not a guaranteed. Okay. I hope you got my answer. Everything's clear. If not, you can tell me. Okay, you can leave me question, and I'm gonna answer you. Okay, so last point I wanted to point out is the situation is very important. If you are asking about something in a very specific situation, you have a certain scenario, and it might be much more easy for a person to guess, for example, if you're in a train station and you are asking for a ticket to Shanghai, and you say Shanghai with the wrong tone, how it should be. How should we be Shanghai? So we say Shanghai, right? Like a falling tone, falling rising tone. Shanghai. But if you say Shanghai in a train station, everyone mostly I'm not gonna say everyone. So mostly people could understand you're going to Shanghai. Okay, the chance they gonna understand you will be more, will be higher rate to understand you. Okay, but for example, if you suddenly enter into a shop and ask for something, there is definitely no contact, and you speak with the wrong tone, that might be very, people might be very confused. What do you ask about? Okay, so the last factor is that the situation is pretty important. Okay, to this question, can people understand me if I speak with the wrong tones or no tones? So depends on people, situation, and who are you talking to? Okay, mainly these 3 points. Okay, and next one. Last time there is one, I received one question like how do you use the tone when you sing? Yes, I'm gonna answer it a bit later. I just want to show you something very common at the beginning. Okay, so our next question gonna be okay, our next question gonna be this: why can't I pick out tones? Okay, so okay, our next question gonna be, why can't I pick out any tones or hear the tones when Chinese people speak quickly? Okay, first I would like to show you a quick example like this. 你中午吃饭了吗? Well, this is how you can hear from a textbook pronunciation, right? From the MP3. So again, they would say in this very slow, complete, and slightly exaggerated way, like 你中午吃饭了吗？没有，我还没吃呢。But please imagine who speak like this in real life. Even when you learn English, the real the spoken English, they wouldn't speak in this way, right? So in Chinese, it's the same. We wouldn't say like a robot. We would say it's in a much natural way, less rigid, or you can say less 100% correct way. But that's definitely is some spoken language sounds like. Okay, so what? How we gonna pronounce it? We say 你中午吃饭了吗？你中午吃饭了吗？ Okay, so 你 would be a little stress. 中午 中 you can hear clearly, but 午 maybe not that much. And 吃 maybe clearly, but 饭 maybe not much. And 了吗 well, this particle or filler words is always weak. Okay, we never try to pronounce the filler words or particle that much. Okay, so again, that's why when you hear people talking and you think they are not using tones, or you can't pick out the tones because this is not the way when you learn. This is not the way when you learn pronunciation from textbook. Okay, through this example, I hope you get some point why this question exists. Okay, so I'm gonna explain with more details. Well, first of all, I still want to say this is a common thing that for new learners, yes, they say that Chinese people are not using tones, or they are not using tones in the way that I'm used to. No, okay. That's because when you get a beginner book, textbook, they normally speak in a very, very slow and could be exaggerated, and because they try to be very correct, very in the most standard and most correct way for their learners. Yeah, but in fact, in real life, no one speak like that. Okay, you won't hear exactly the same like a textbook. Okay, what you should do is you have to you acquire Chinese words or phrase or grammar you learn from a textbook, but you also have to start used to the real life style speech. Well, this is something you have to focus on. Okay, and so another point I want to point out is in China, even the people who have very, very good pronunciation, such as teachers, broadcasters on the TV, and they often not pronounce every single tone in the way you used to. Okay, so don't try to expect that people will say the way the same like a textbook. No, it's not the same. Okay, they will speak in a very natural way and a less rigid way. Okay. Another point is not every part of the sentence emphasize the same. Okay, so this is something flexible. This is I can't just give you a standard answer in one question. In this case, we have to go to much details. Okay, so Chinese sentence have intonation, and some words will be stressed, and the tones will be clearer. And some words are not stressed, so you won't really hear the tones, or you don't hear that part very clearly. Okay, just like I mentioned, like the filler words or grammatical particle, we never say it like loudly. Okay, does that make sense? So you'll find that Chinese people are actually speaking, they are not emphasizing every single tone, and they are not able to pronounce every single tone completely, accurately, precisely. Okay, and in sum up, in my opinion, well, this is not the point. This is not the point if you can't hear the tones, pick up the tones, because how you understand a sentence is not only the tone, right? The tones are a part of the sentence. How do you get the meaning of the sentence? You also have vocabulary, right? So sometimes is that you not because of the tone, because you are not familiar with the words. Okay, some vocabulary you didn't hear it, you never learn it. So together plus the tone, or you were nervous, that make you think, oh, I couldn't pick up the tone, so I couldn't have communication with people. But you have to really you have to really dive Okay, if you want to have a really good communication with natives, you have to really dive deeper. First is tone is just a part. Second, you have a vocabulary, right? You have to expand your vocabulary and get used to the single vocabulary in spoken way. Okay, this is even more important than just pick out the tones. Okay, I hope I answered it completely. Some comments. 别播小朋友们。What do you want to say? 别播小朋友们 ，Don't get it？我要去伤害，我要去伤害。你晚上吃饭了吗？没有，你请我吃饭吧。我一贫如洗，你真富的。Okay. Nober, what was that? I didn't get what are you wanted to ask? Do you have any question or something? Okay. This question we pass. Next one. Okay, this one I'm gonna answer this question. So this question is someone from last live stream you asked. Do you remember? I'm not sure if you are in front of the computer right now, but I'm gonna answer it to you. Okay, so how can you sing? Just a moment, I'm gonna copy it here. Whisper. Okay. Here. Okay, here it is. Okay, so how can you sing or whisper in Chinese if you need the tones? Okay, I think this is the question you ask about how we when we sing a song, how we manage these tones, or if every single syllable has a tone, how you sing, right? Okay, so I'm trying to answer this question. First of all, I want to say the fact is that when you singing in Chinese or when you whispering in Chinese, you generally can be understood fine because there are common scenarios. So how does it work? Basically, when you are singing in Chinese, you can't hear the tone, so you have to guess and what the tones are. In all of the situations, it might be hard for foreigners, but it never hard for Chinese because okay, so the situation is in Chinese. It's difficult to understand all of the words in singing, especially in classical opera or very old production. However, in the modern music, pop music, something, the range of the things that they are talking about is fairly limited. Okay, so this is the reason that caused it's not a problem for us, and so it's fairly easy to guess what tone the person will be speaking, and with the tones of what they are saying, just like you're speaking with no tone, but you have to guess what does that mean. Okay, and because the range is limited, so it's pretty easy to guess what they singing about. Okay, the second one is I want to point out is when people singing in Chinese, they do stress the different part of the sentence. Do you have any favorite Chinese song? You can write me the lyrics. You can now write me the lyrics, and I'm gonna analyze it to you. Okay. I didn't find a very good example because what I know is really too much Chinese songs. So you guys can tell me what's your favorite song. You tell me one or two lyric, and I can analyze to you how the tone works in that lyric. Okay? Do you have? Do you have? 波就是打死的同义词，我去上海的句子就是理解一个普通人会发现我要去上海的意思。Okay. Do you have any lyrics? Okay, if you can think, okay, you can type it to me, and I'm just gonna continue. So, first, is that clear? It's fairly easy to guess what they are singing about. Secondly, is they do stress the different part to depending on different singers. So everyone has their own different style, so they could stress something differently. But the fact is that they do stress something differently, and we could hear. It's easy for us to hear what part they are stressed, and it might be something new for you, something not very obvious for you, but it's very obvious for us to hear what's the point of the lyric, what the emotion they're gonna express. Okay, this is very simple to guess. Okay, and so this is my answer to this question. Okay, and the last question. Last question is okay, still let me copy it. So, do Chinese sentences have intonation? What is the difference between Chinese and English intonation? Okay, I'm gonna answer this question. Because if each syllable or each character is pronounced in a particular pitch, then how do you have intonation? Also, what is the difference between Chinese and English intonation, right? This is how people ask. Well, one of the main difference is when you are saying different sentences in English, normally the pitch of your voice will go down at the end of the sentence. What I mean, let me show you just a simple example. So, okay, so it's just this. Can you see clearly? So, I need to buy bread, milk, and potatoes. How an English speaker would pronounce this? They would say, I need to buy bread, milk, and potatoes. Okay, start in a high intonation, but in a lower it at the end. So this is something doesn't happen in Chinese. Okay, what we do in Chinese sentence is, please see this line. So the intonation, it's not from high to down, but it maintain. But what we do is we maintain the same intonation, but for every single syllable, we have different tones. So how we say it, we pronounce as 我要买面包、牛奶和土豆。Okay, not 我要买面包、牛奶和土豆。Okay, try to not bring your English speech habit when you speaking in Chinese. Okay, so well, it's hard. Yes, I know. When I simply say it, it's easy, but when you try to do it, that's really challenge. So this is something you really have to aware, always be aware and avoid. Yes, so you have to practice, okay, and be aware. Okay, I'm now speaking Chinese. I'm now not speaking English, so I'm not gonna pronounce like a 我要买面包、牛奶和土豆. Okay. Okay, this is the example. I hope it is something show you very clear or obvious. Okay, I try to explain more how it works. Um, um, well, this is something in Chinese. Normally, it doesn't happen, and your voice will not lower in pitch at the end of the sentence. You have to always be aware of that. And this is so I really want to point that this is a mistake that a lot of learners, especially English speaker learners, okay, they will make. Okay, just because they are used to speaking English, the pitch of their voice naturally so lower at the end of the sentence, so they will used to do this way. Okay, this is you basically have to try to keep your voice on an equal pitch towards to the end of the sentence. Okay, you have to always keep your voice on an equal pitch towards to the end of the sentence. Okay, so that's one difference. But what's the similarity is that certain words in a sentence will be emphasized. The key words, and there is the same in English, in Chinese, and other language too. Okay, whew, luckily there is something similarity. Okay, so effectively that works in the same way. Also, the pitch of your voice will go up at the end of the sentence for questions. What does it mean? So, like this. This is a common sentence. Yes, this is not a question. So this is a go down. But when we speak, when we ask a question in English, for example, would you like a cup of tea? Would you like a cup of tea? It goes up, right? So in Chinese, luckily, this is something the same. When we ask a question, the pitch, the intonation also goes up. So we would say, 你要喝茶吗?你要喝茶吗? Okay, this is a similarity. Okay, it's a not maybe pronounced in every single question in Chinese because of the word order, the way the sentence is worked. But in a lot of situations, if you are asking a question, your voice go up in pitch at the end of the sentence. Okay, I hope you have more idea about this question and about how you can pronounce, how to speak in Chinese. Okay, and at the end, I would like to show you some common mistakes so you can see the real example. Okay, the first one is okay, so well, Okay, how about this? So, how to say cell phone? How to say cell phone? Cell phone. We say 手机, right? 手机. 手机. Okay. We say 手机 and how one related question, for example, this 我找不到我的手机. How an English speaker they would pronounce this sentence. One of the possibility they could pronounce in this way. 我找不到我的手机. So they still say in this way. 我找不到我的手机. Have you found they still bring this English speaking habit when they speak in Chinese? Okay, so this is something you should avoid and make this pitch equally to the end of the sentence. Okay, in this way, but you just do something different with the every single tone. So we say 我找不到我的手机. Okay, in this way. Another question I want to share is just a moment. Okay, how about this? So this one. 可能我要去明天. Okay, 可能我要去明天. That means, let's talk about the grammar part later. First, let's figure out the tones. Okay, so the tones, how an English speakers they would pronounce is like 可能我要去明天. 可能我要去明天. So it still start from a high intonation and lower at the end of the sentence. But how we would say it, let's leave the grammar part a little bit later. But because this question is more than one problem we have to resolve. Okay, let's first resolve the pronunciation problem. So the first we say 可能. You don't have to push that hard. 可能 you don't have to push that hard. 就是可能我要去明天. Okay, make it equally to the end of the sentence. 可能我要去明天. Okay, this is the first. So, I want to talk about why people could pronounce like this way, 可能我要去明天. Why people could pronounce in this way is, first one is, he's not aware his pronunciation is wrong, or he doesn't pay attention to his tones. Okay, two reasons. The first, he speak, but he actually doesn't know what his pronunciation. Okay, second one is he think the tones is something extra. He doesn't really pay attention on these tones. Okay, so this two reasons cause the sentence sounds like 可能我要去明天. Okay, obviously this is something not guaranteed people could understand you. Okay, second one. So have you found any problem of this sentence? There are still two more sentences. The first sentence is this 可能. So let me point out. So in English, maybe can be used to politely suggest or ask for something, but it not means it works the same in Chinese. Okay, what does it mean? In English, we often say like maybe I will go tomorrow. So politely suggest something or ask something. Yes, it has this usage in English maybe, but I would like to say in Chinese it doesn't happen. Okay, we don't use 可能 the same way like in English. Okay, so this is because this sentence is very strange that 可能我要去明天 because we would think so what are you going to tell? You gonna go or you don't gonna go? Okay, it's just a weird sentence for Chinese people. We would be very confused. Okay, so simply what we simply when we want to say this sentence, like oh, maybe tomorrow I will go, or maybe I will not go. I'm not sure. So we don't add this 可能. We have some other expression. Okay, the reason there are more expression. We can see it much later, but now I still want to tell you why people could make such mistake and that you should avoid. Okay, so why people could make such a sentence is because he still do the translating. Okay, this is a typical English sentence. Maybe I will go tomorrow. So he still do the translating, but he bring this translating just copy and paste. But it's not many of the time if you do the translating copy and paste, it will be very strange. Okay, this is the reason cause this question is very strange. Okay, so this is second problem. The last problem is have you found? He say 可能我要去明天. So this 明天, what is this 明天? 明天, right? 明天 is a what? It's a time word. So time word should be placed at the first or second place, never at the end. Okay, never at the end. In Chinese, time word never at the end. So how we correct it? So first we should simply delete this 可能, and we may say 明天 first, 明天我要去 or 我明天要去. That's it. Okay. So this is a common mistake contains three problems. First is a pronunciation problem. Second is people who try to do the translating instead of build the sentence by their own. The last problem is you really have to learn a word carefully. So like this 可能, if you learn this very carefully, you should know, oh, okay, in Chinese, we don't say that way. So you won't build a sentence like this. Okay. Pronunciation, grammar, and stop doing translating. Okay. Okay, good. I think today I've showed something. Do you have any other problem? 当你开始担心没法迈步，只好摆出所谓的态度。So Norbert, what do you want to? What would like to? What kind of help do you need? What kind of help do you need? I'm confused. Okay, do you guys have any other question? So, good. This is everything for today. I hope that you get something new, get something inspiring, and I would be very glad. Okay. I'm gonna leave now. So if you don't leave me any question, if you have any question later on, you can leave me comment. Okay, I'm gonna prepare it. Next live stream, I will be answering you. Okay. 再见啦，拜拜。